Hey everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs. I'm going to show you how to use a new die from Stampin' Up! And the coordinating stamp set to make a bag topper for any holiday really, but this one is for Halloween. These little labels are perfect for just stapling on top of a bag, kind of making treat creation a little simpler. It doesn't require too much scoring and assembling. Now I'm using the Celebration Tidings stamp set and coordinating dies. If you look in the 2020 holiday catalog from Stampin' Up! On page 56, you'll see lots of different ways to use these dies. But I think that the original purpose for these really are bag toppers. And you can see a cute little Christmas option there. And in the back, there's even a Valentine project as well. All right, well, let's get started. I'm going to use the largest Celebration die, and I'm going to cut it out of basic black. So let me get my cut and emboss machine over here. And I've got half a sheet of cardstock. You could probably go a little bit smaller if you wanted to save your cardstock, but for me, it's just easy to cut the cardstock right in half. All right, now let's move this big guy out of the way. All right, so put it on your Simply Scored or your trimmer, and you want to just score it right there in between that little notch on each side. All right, because this is a Halloween project, I'm going to use that spider web stamp right there, and I'm going to use my Stamparatus so that I make sure to get this stamped image straight and exactly where I want it. If I'm going to do it freehand, I run the risk of messing it up. But when I use my Stamparatus, I can really look at it and get it exactly where I want it. Let's see, let's get it nice and centered. Then put your plate down, pick it up, and let's make sure my paper wiggled a little bit. Let's try that again. Sometimes your paper will wiggle with these photopolymer stamps. So just start over, pick it up. There we go. All right, I'm going to ink this in Whisper White ink. It's actually called White Craft ink, and it's great for embossing because we're going to emboss this in white embossing powder. There we go. Now, another great use for the Stamparatus is being able to ink something twice. I want to make sure I have lots of that ink on there. Okay, now let's turn it around. And I am going to take my chamois, clean that off really well. Craft ink is kind of messy. You probably want to take all of this to your sink when you're done and wash it real good with some Dawn. Okay, pick that up carefully and let's do it again. And one more time for good measure. There we go. Okay, now let's get our white embossing powder and sprinkle that on there. And I'm going to hit it back on the back to make sure I get all those extra little granules off. And turn on your heat tool and let it do its work. Now it'll take a minute or so, no, like 15 or 20 seconds maybe, to get to the right temperature. And as soon as it does, you'll see your embossing start to turn shiny. It really is kind of magical, like a little science experiment. Hopefully you guys can see that. It turns pretty bright white. When you're using a heat tool, you want to be careful to keep your fingers away because it is very hot. It's much hotter than a hairdryer. And it can burn you if you're not careful. But you can see my fingers are far enough away that I'm having no problem at all. All right, it looks good. There. Now, you want to give it about 10 or 15 seconds to fully set, because if you touched it right now, it would be tacky and even smearable. Now I'm going to use these new bags. These are called Mosaic Gusseted Cellophane bags. They're awesome. They're more fun than just a plain gusseted bag, if you ask me. And I'm going to put some candy corn in here. Nothing says Halloween like some candy corn. All right, now I'm going to fold it over like that, okay? And I think we're ready. Yeah, so now let's fold this in half. And I'm going to put that right there. Let's see, I think I want to fold that up a little bit higher. There we go, that's good. Okay, now I've got that lined up to the edge, and I'm just going to take my stapler and staple it. But don't worry, we're going to cover that staple up. All right, so now let's do some stamping. This cute little stamp set has a little spider that we're going to stamp, so with our spider web. So let's do him in Memento Black on Whisper White. I've also cut out a pumpkin pie label from the Tasteful Labels dies, and I've got a strip of black glimmer cardstock. This is 1x4, and I'm going to use my Banners Pick a Punch right here, and I like to turn it over so I can see it, make sure I get it centered. All right, you've also got these guidelines. Let's see, there we go. All right, let's stick that in. It fits, but I always just want to make sure. There we go, perfect. All right, and we're going to stamp Happy Haunting on our little label. And all of these are from the Celebration Labels stamp set, Celebration Tidings stamp set. All right, now we need to cut out our cute little spiders. So let's bring the cut and emboss machine back. One thing I really like about this die set is that for the little guys, there's 2 of them, so I can actually cut both of them out at the same time. There are some other little dies there that go with the other holiday stamps, Christmas, and there's hearts, there's little foliage, sprigs. All right, so get your spiders lined up. And run it through. Put your dies back so you don't lose them. And I think we're ready to assemble everything. All right, now of course dimensionals. We want lots of dimensionals here because we're not mailing this, so it doesn't matter. So let's put that banner right there. Doesn't that spider web look neat? Sticking out from there. And it looks like I should have done my spider webs maybe a little bit further apart, but you can still see them. Like that. See, let me show you the difference. See how I did these? So you might want to give yourself about another, probably a good 1 to 1.5 inches between the 2. But it still looks neat. It's not a wasted project. It still works. You can tell that those are spider webs. And we'll put our spiders. We'll have one coming down and one going up. And then we've got to cover up those staples. And I'm going to use this fun black and white twine from the Playful Pets ribbon pack. I'm going to just tie that across the top like that. I'm going to put the bow over here on the side. These would be fun to hand out maybe at a trunk or treat event. And pretty easy, pretty simple construction. And there you have it. All right, let's look at both of them. All right, you guys, I hope you like it. Now, if you hop over to my blog, you will find a PDF for this and 2 other Celebration Tidings projects. You can print it out, save it, do whatever you want. It's got all the products that I'm using, as well as any measurements that you might need. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.